Good evening and welcome to tonight's show. This is Powwow Nation Live. I'm Paul Gatter, and I thank you so much for being here. On tonight's show, I have an interview with Isaac Meyers. This is a really cool story because this is something we don't get to talk a lot about because you don't see this. You've seen his work, I'm sure, but you didn't know it was him behind the scenes. So we'll talk with him. He is a makeup artist and has done the makeup for several people that you'll know. So we'll talk with him in a little while. But first, I want to get to some announcements. And oh man. Sorry about that. First, I want to remind everybody our giveaway is going on right now. We have a travel giveaway happening. So we're giving away some Pendleton travel gear, PowWows.com/win. You can enter daily to win this. We've got some other travel bags from Pendleton, as well as this really cool water bottle that is really nice. Yeah, nice water bottle. So head on over PowWows.com/win. That'll get you in that, and I'd love to send that to you and let you be one of the people that wins this prize. Also, have to give a big shout out, and please post in the comments and say happy birthday to my daughter. Today is her 21st birthday. We're actually driving down in the morning to go visit with her and to celebrate this weekend. So happy birthday, Brooke. Yeah, she is now living in Florida and working at Walt Disney World, so we're going to go down there and see her. So congratulations, Brooke, and happy birthday. Hope you're enjoying your celebration tonight. All right, let's get to talking about some powwows. We've got, let me flip over here. This weekend, we're doing 2 live streams again, doubling up again this weekend. We will be at the Sioux Valley Dakota Nation powwow this weekend, as well as Kainai Powwow Celebration. Really exciting. Our powwow team, our powwow streaming team, Michael and Dolores, will be up there at Sioux Valley. And then we're working again with Jacob Faithful with Young Spirit to stream the Kainai Powwow. So look for that, PowWows.com/live. We'll be live streaming from those 2 events. You don't want to miss any of that. And of course, if you miss any of our streams, please head on over to our YouTube channel or just look here on Facebook, and you can catch up with those. Do keep in mind, though, Facebook they're now starting to remove our streams after 30 days, so you can go over to YouTube to watch, and we have a full archive there. Now, let's talk upcoming powwows because there are so many going on right now. It is busy powwow season, so let's get into them. First up, this is all the ones that we have on the calendar happening this weekend. Up there in Seattle, which you'll hear from our guest in just a little while, talk about Seattle. So the 36th Annual Seafair Indian Days Powwow is happening. Go check that out if you're up there in the Northwest. That looks to be a good one. We visited there one time, and I really want to get back. So what else is happening? The 51st Annual Little Beaver Powwow Contest is happening in Minnesota. So go check that out, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Then here's the one I was talking about. This is going to be going on in Sioux Valley, Dakota Nation. This is up in Manitoba, and we will be streaming this one live. But if you're in that area, please stop by. They got an incredible dance arbor, and it's going to be a good time up there. Here's the Kainai Powwow information. This is going to be happening in Alberta as well. And you can see Northern Cree is going to be there. Hal Eagletail always brings the energy as an MC. Rusty Gillette, Opie Day. Look at these names. C&T Cabulators, Hoka Sound, Junior. Yeah, this is going to be a great powwow. If you're up in that area, go check it out. All right, Sugar Island, Michigan is happening this weekend also, 18th through the 20th. You can find all this over at PowWows.com/calendar. And here is some more information on that. Don't miss out on any powwows. That's where you can find it. PowWows.com/ I'm in the way. PowWows.com/powwows near me will get you all that information. All right. There's another one happening in Pennsylvania. Go check it out over there. Let's see what else we got. Over in Rhode Island, I get emails several times a year asking about powwows up in the Northeast, especially like Rhode Island and some of the other smaller states. Well, here you go. This is happening the 19th and 20th up there in Rhode Island. Also also this weekend, Robert Woolery Sr. Memorial Powwow over in Missouri. Seneca Powwow. Oh man, we went to this a few years ago. I love this powwow. Such a good time up there. One we definitely want to get back to. The smoke dancing up there is fantastic. So this is going to be happening in Salamanca, New York, upstate New York. If you're up there, this is a must-see powwow. Over in Maryland, 32nd Annual Howard County Powwows. Go check that out on the 19th and 20th over there at the fairgrounds. And United Friendship is happening down in Louisiana. That's a good one. Go check that out just on the 19th. And then one more that we have for this weekend happening in Maine. Wow. So 2 up there in the Northeast, Rhode Island and Maine happening this weekend. All right. So there is the powwows that we have coming up just for this weekend. There are so many more published on our calendar, and we're updating it every single day. Please go check it out. PowWows.com/calendar. You can find lots and lots of information there. All right. Let me check on a couple of the comments here. Spirit Walker, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Marshall, good to see you again, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. All right, let's get to talking a little bit about tonight's guest, Isaac Meyers. He is a makeup artist, as I mentioned, and he is, like I said, you've seen his work. I'm sure you have, and when I show you some of the pictures, you know you have seen it. He's a renowned makeup artist, lives up in Seattle, and he's known for his innovative and artistic approach to beauty with over a decade of experience in the industry. He's worked with diverse clientele, including celebrities, models, and everyday clients. You'll hear him talk more about kind of how his year goes and how he has part of the year where he's doing commercial stuff and then TV and movies. So you'll hear more about that. But he has really dedicated himself to learning about the craft and staying up with trends. So it's really exciting to see him and get a chance to introduce you to what his work is. I do want to play a short clip showing a little bit of his work before we do the interview. So let me flip over to here.
He has some serious credentials, but what really sets him apart is his mission to blend professional artistry with cultural pride and uplift communities that don't always see themselves represented in the beauty world. Isaac, welcome to the show and welcome models. This is going to be so
this is a show he did up there in Seattle. So yeah, go check this out on YouTube and see more of what he does. But here is my interview with Isaac Meyers. Hey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. Please introduce yourself and let everybody know where you're from.
Oh, hi. My name's Isaac Meyers. I am a makeup artist for TV, film, and commercial, and I live in Seattle, Washington.
So that is it's a really interesting field, and I've been looking at your website and seeing your work. Let's just go from the beginning. Like, how do you get into something like that? Where do you? Is that something you studied, or like how do you go into that field?
I kind of just it is a weird thing. I always wanted to do makeup from drawing and painting as a kid, but I didn't really know how because I was obsessed with movies and all the effects and like that went into it. But I moved to Arizona when I was 18 to kind of I grew up in Utah and tried to get out of there just because just wanted to change. And when I was there, I stumbled upon this was back in 2002, so it was early MAC Cosmetics day when like they were just kind of getting started. And I fell in love with the brand and ended up becoming an artist, a freelance artist. And then from there, I transferred to LA and worked at the Beverly Center. And then from there, I went to makeup school in LA at Cinema Makeup. And I've just been kept doing it. I lived in LA for about 8 years. And then from there, I moved back to Utah when my grandpa was getting sick and buried him. And then me and my partner moved to New York and lived there for a few years. And then now we've been in Seattle for the last, I think, 12.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a crazy ride, but it's been fun.
Yeah. And I've seen, people on social media and I know people who've gone the path of doing makeup and then, like you said, like freestyling, and doing bridals and photo shoots, things like that. Well, how do you make the jump from there to doing TV production, movies, and that kind of stuff?
Well, it's kind of you kind of have to do a little bit of everything. It's there's especially depending on where you live. Like when I lived in New York, like each market has their industry of makeup, like what where they prefer. Like LA is definitely TV, film. Um, that's mainly the what where the work is. Where
Right.
New York is definitely more editorial, fashion, and a lot of like corporate work, a lot of marketing work.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Seattle, where I'm at now, it's definitely going to be a lot more bridals in the summer, and then like during the winter months, it's all like corporate. I work in tech a lot with like big different companies out here, so you kind of just have to like go be able to kind of do all of it, kind of put your feet in like bridal here this month, maybe like in the fall you're going to jump to corporate commercials, and then maybe like starting of next year when they get all their new budgets, you'll work with some tech companies.
Oh
So it
wow.
kind of just you kind of just have to be flexible, really.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, when I was looking at your work, I like, as a photographer, I know that I can look at different people's photography and see their style and kind of sometimes know who took the photo. I'm wondering in yours, like, can you identify styles, and like maybe you discuss your own style, but when you're looking at people on screen, can you identify and kind of tell who's doing it? Is there tell me a little bit about like how do you put your touch
Yeah,
on it?
yeah. You definitely like being in this business, you definitely get an eye of
Right.
like what is a good look, what is not really a good look. I try not judge it too much, but I definitely can tell someone who has just started versus someone who's been working in the industry for a while,
Right.
um, based off of photos or videos.
Yeah.
But
And so do you
yeah,
put your
it's
own touches on it? Like, I mean, can you separate your style from other people?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I definitely have my own way of how I do makeup, and it's funny. Like even when I go watch movies, still to this day, that's kind of the first thing I look at. Like, oh, how's the blending? Like 'cause some movies, and I'm not going to say names, but some movies you can see the like where they didn't blend down the foundation through the neck, or
Right.
they didn't touch up the ear, because the lighting will show that, and so the camera will pick it up. So I notice things like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely you definitely have to have that eye. I definitely have that eye for I notice everything, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm the same way now. When I look at photos, I catch myself now looking at the composition and the lighting, and yeah, sometimes I gotta put that aside and just enjoy it for what it is.
Well, and
Um.
you take great photos.
Oh, thank you.
I love yeah, I love your photos.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Um. Now, being indigenous in this field, how has that been different? And I mean, has that opened some doors, or has it been more difficult?
Um, it's definitely been difficult. I feel like now, within the last like 3 or 4 years, it's definitely opened more doors. But like in the beginning of my earlier career, it definitely
Hmm.
was a lot harder. There wasn't like they weren't there. There was no representation for indigenous makeup,
Right.
indigenous beauty, indigenous actors. Like yeah, they were still there, but they weren't like where they are today, and they weren't as celebrated as they are, like I feel like today.
Yeah.
And we still have a long ways to come, but I feel like it's at least we're getting the recognition that we are deserve, now. And same with artists. I'm seeing a lot more makeup and beauty artists. I'm seeing a lot more indigenous beauty brands, where before, when I started, there was none. And
Right.
so it's a really good time right now for indigenous people in general, working in front of the camera and behind the camera, to be a part of this, because I feel like it's just, we're really getting our voice out there, and, where people are listening before, they weren't, or, we just weren't represented in this space.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see kind of this like a renaissance of um, native storytelling, and um, for me, I've enjoyed. It's almost been just maybe the last 5 or 6 years, whether it was side characters maybe in Yellowstone, but then you start getting into the reservation dogs and you see like actual stories, and then I interviewed some of the people from oh, now I forgot her, Reba McEntire's new show, and
Oh yeah.
it's good storytelling of an indigenous character, but it isn't. It's not like in your face, like, oh my God, this is, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
now he's just a person on the show, which I think is a really cool progression to kind of see that. Yeah, it's kind of cool. They're not, like making him over the top. So it's been cool to
Yeah.
see that, and to see that these things are now mainstream has been really exciting. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and I just feel like it's not so this there are we're getting a voice, and it's not so stereotypical of
yeah, exactly.
how we've been portrayed before in Hollywood, and so it's and you're seeing a lot more people advocate for like different beauty products, different like models,
Right.
TV, all that is it's a really nice thing to see right now. Very, very happy
Yeah, I
of
was just
where
talking to
we're
a friend the
coming.
other day about reservation dogs, and I said it's really cool that there was a what 3 seasons of a TV show, and
Yeah.
there was maybe only one or two powwows in the whole thing, which you know 10 or 15 years ago you couldn't have had an indigenous story without it being centered on powwows. So
Oh yeah.
or some kind of dancing, or or historical, yeah. So it's really cool to watch that. And one of the things I love in getting to interview people like you is seeing all these new opportunities, and maybe not new, and you've been doing this for a long time, but I think it's important for the native youth that they now can see there are lots of different ways they can go. You guys are, you're setting a path that maybe somebody now can follow. So I always like to ask,
Yeah.
what is your advice for people out there that maybe want to break into this field and now see that it is a path for them? How do they get started, and what would you tell them?
I would definitely just it's a very it I was confused. So when I started out, definitely find someone that you meant that like you that could mentor you, or that you could look up to follow their progress, and really just stick with it. It's not an instant overnight success, and I think with a lot of like social media, a lot of um, like and a lot of people think that oh, I'm going to be a star, or I'm going to get this, and no, it takes every day, every second, every year. It's constant, and just be original. Like literally, put yourself out there, make great content, but also be authentic, be yourself, and find your like I really had to find my purpose, and like as I've gotten older, why I love to do this. And yes, I love the whole makeup thing, but then it also brings back to what I just love indigenous beauty, indigenous anything. And so that all kind of brings back why I do this still is just and it all I even still have like some old books from when I old movies that I saw as a kid that still inspire me to this day for my makeup.
That's cool. Yeah.
But
Now I do want to ask about, you had a recent project, and I want to go watch it because I didn't even know about it. But
oh,
the Indigenous Women's kind of forum. Yeah,
oh
tell us
yeah.
a little bit about that and how you got involved.
Yeah. So it's called The Culture is Indigenous Women, and it is on Peacock.
Hmm.
And it's a series. So they have different ones. I think the first one was like The Culture is Black Women, and then now they're like they just do different races. And so the second one was Indigenous Women, and yeah, it was. We filmed it here in Seattle in the Suquamish tribe.
Okay.
So that's if you don't know that, Seattle is named after their chief. His
Right.
name was Chief Seattle, and he is Suquamish. And so from Seattle. That is, you have to take a ferry across the Puget Sound, which is about takes about 25-30 minutes to get across there. And then that all over there, you take a little about 10-minute drive and you get to the Suquamish tribe. And
Hmm.
we filmed it all over there. NBC was the one who filmed it and was in charge of the production. I think they paid the tribe, and they had them. It was awesome. Alyssa London was our host. She was also Miss Alaska 2017.
Okay.
So yeah, she was that. She was great. And then it was a beautiful thing, really, like how they did from the welcoming ceremony on the canoe to the salmon bake to like just the whole thing. I don't want to spoil it for you if anyone's not seen it, but it's really it just talks about there's different women on a panel and at the end that kind of go over, and these are big women in Hollywood that I think Jane Myers, she's a filmmaker.
Hmm.
I think she did Prey.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's a few other actors, um, but they all really talk about like what it's like being Indigenous in today's society, and really what their role is and what they do with their work and how they're transforming it in their lives and with their people. And it was a really great thing. It was amazing to be part of, and just to see like where we've come, as far as like for our women, and just to see them talking and discussing this. And they all wore traditional regalia
Hmm.
and jewelry during it, and each of them like had their own custom pieces that they wanted to represent them. And it was just really beautiful. I definitely suggest everyone watch it, but it is on Peacock, and it is called "The Culture is Indigenous Women."
Okay.
And yeah, it was great thing to be part of.
That's really cool. We were fortunate enough to go out to the island there a couple years ago, and we worked with one of the schools, and they brought us in the day they were smoking the salmon, and we got to
Yeah.
got to see what they were doing. We helped build or I sponsored a disc golf course out there, so we got to play the disc golf with some of the kids and some of the teachers. So that was really cool. It is absolutely beautiful out there.
So pretty. Yeah.
It's
They
unreal.
they have a great they have a great little tribe out there and community.
Yeah, yeah, and super
Nicest
friendly,
people.
and really accessible. Like it feels very homey, kind of almost reminiscent of like these small towns in America where everybody knows each other. It's really neat out there. It's like a different world. But like you said, it's just 30 minutes outside of Seattle by boat,
Yeah.
and you're in a whole nother world. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's like either way you go in Seattle, you have different tribes. It's
Right.
kind of feel like it's like the kind of like the native city. You know how like Atlanta has like that's kind of like the African American
Right.
like hub for them, like I feel like Seattle's kind of like the native indigenous city for us.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. That's cool. All right. So what's next for you? Any projects that we need to be on the lookout for?
Yes. Well, a lot of them I can't really discuss them,
Yeah.
but I'm always working. I have a few things that I'm doing um, with. I just did a huge segment with Cheekbone Beauty and Prados Beauty. They're
Hmm.
indigenous brands. We did a segment on A New Day, Seattle. It's a TV show for daytime local users. But I'll have to send it to you. You can see the clip. That was really cool. We had indigenous models, and I'm just kind of doing little things here and there in the community. I think we're going to go to the Seafair Powwow on
Yeah.
Saturday. I think Lily Gladstone is sponsoring one of the dances.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be there. And then for work wise, I kind of right now I'm in my we're in commercial season, so I'm doing a lot of like just like commercials for tech companies right now. It's just been kind of been kind of busy, but fun.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I appreciate you spending some time with us and kind of telling your
Thank
story.
you.
I love hearing that. People like you are. We're now in indigenous culture is going all over the place, and I don't know that this isn't something a lot of people think about and having that indigenous touch in the makeup field. So I appreciate you telling your story.
Oh no, thank you so much. And I love your publication. I have been following you guys for years, and I always check my powwows.
Thanks so much.
There. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate Isaac spending some time with us. So I do I have a couple of wrap up notes, but I do want to show you a couple things more about what he was talking about. Here is a trailer for The Culture is Indigenous Women.
I humbly ask permission to come onto your lands.
Everybody thinks that when people moved into America, it was empty. Native people were here. We fed you.
Tomahawk chops and all these things, these aren't traditional Native things. These are inventions of white people in Hollywood.
I think there is an irrational fear that Native Americans want retribution. We only want equality.
The Culture is Indigenous Women, Sunday at 10 on.
And then here, I mentioned you probably know his work. So yes, if you've seen, how many of us have seen pictures of Quanah Rose? Yes, look, he did the makeup for her at one of the events she was at in Seattle. And here's more of his work. He is truly gifted. Here's him working on. You can actually see him doing his work here. So really appreciative that Isaac spent some time and told his story. It is so cool to see the indigenous touch, like I said in the interview, see the indigenous touch in the makeup field. That's pretty cool. And now that there are so many indigenous stories being told, it's great to have somebody like him in that field. All right, a couple of reminders. Oh, and sorry, I do want to let me go back and highlight this one more time. Please go give him a follow over on his Instagram, Isaac Meyers 1. So go check him out, Isaac Meyers 1 over on Instagram. All right, don't forget our contest is going on, PowWows.com/win. Really cool travel gear. This is a really cool sling bag. My wife hasn't seen this yet, but she may like this. It's a really cool bag. All right, so that's in there, as well as other prizes. Don't miss that. You can enter every day. Don't forget, this weekend we'll be live on Facebook and YouTube with 2 powwows going on. You don't want to miss any of that. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss out on any of that. And you can find out more over at PowWows.com/PowWows near me. You subscribe, I send out powwow calendar updates a couple times a month with all the upcoming events, as well as what's going on at PowWows.com, our live streams, and all the other things that we do. If you're shopping on Amazon this year, please head over to PowWows.com/Amazon first. It helps support us. It gives us a little small commission, and it costs you nothing extra. Amazon just gives us the referral. And we do have some stickers and shirts and things going on, and we got a good sale happening right now. So PowWows.com/shop. And say a thank you to the folks over there at Powwow Nation making contributions to help support us. Appreciate that. And if you're looking for how to help support PowWows.com, here's some ways you can share and like our content. That is the best way to do it. When you do that, it tells Facebook and Meta and YouTube and all the other platforms that you like it, and you and others should see more of it. You can also make sure you subscribe to that newsletter. I keep saying that. That is the place where you can really stay up to date on all that we have going on. That's the best way to find out and not miss out. And if you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur trying to start a business and want to grow it and level up, I do some one-on-one coaching, as well as I have some online courses over at paulgowder.com. Again, thank you so much for watching. My suitcase is almost packed. I'm going to go finish putting a few more things in there, get my laptop so I'll be ready to do a little work on the way down there. And then we are off to Florida in the morning. Happy birthday to my daughter. We'll go celebrate with her, and then we're back here Monday for another week of work, getting ready for more powwows coming up. So thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Spend some time with the family, and I'll see you back next week.